Yeah, just bear this in mind, a true friend is hard to find. Don't you mind?
The position of the federal and local government, of Department of Housing and Urban Development and the Housing Authority, is a couple of things. One, they say, well, Katrina hurt us all. You know, it's not our fault that this happened. You know, Katrina inflicted damage on everybody, and it's not our fault. Secondly, they're saying, look, we just can't let people back into this. That they're uninhabitable, they're full of mold, they're dangerous. Katrina really wrecked these buildings. And thirdly, they're saying, well, even if you could go back there, we got some new plans now, and this is an opportunity for us to have a new vision of what affordable housing would look like. So working people, poor people, elderly, disabled, kids, that sort of stuff, you're just going to have to wait a couple of years while we come up with a new vision, and you should just be happy to be where you are. The people who are supposed to be providing housing, in this case, are denying housing. And so we're saying that doesn't make any sense, but it's also illegal and unjust. And people have a right to come back. They have a right to, particularly to come back to these houses that are not damaged at all. And people are saying, you don't even have to fix it up for us. You know, we'll come back on our own. We'll fix it up. Just open the doors, put the electricity and water back on. We'll clean it up and we'll move back. And we're happy to do it.
By keeping, you know, your public housing developments online, that was guaranteed income for Entergy, our electric utility company here. You had the big four who contributed to that economy, kept Entergy going. With us moving out these people, be they people from public housing, residents of the Lower Ninth Ward, New Orleans East, we still have that bill. As homeowners in this city, we pay to support a city that's really got the need for 400,000 people with only 180,000 people here. So Entergy tells us you might have a $600 energy bill every month this winter.
The situation I'm living in now, I don't think I'm gonna make it because my rent is $1,128, the voucher, but I have to pay $409 out of my income, plus my light bill be $523, $423, like that. And I just can't live like that. My medicine be like $125. And for housing to put us out like they did, it was wrong. And I want to come home because I can't live like this.
How long did you live here?
27 years. I used to sit in here every day with my door wide open. I didn't have to worry about locking my door because everybody around here knew me, knew us, me and my twin sister. I would go to the store and leave my back door open. I didn't have to worry about nobody messing with me. But where I'm staying now, I am so afraid because I don't know nobody over there.
They told us we was gonna be in our house. August 10, 15, they stopped the people from working. For what? You gonna wait till they're almost finished everybody's house around here on this avenue and then shut it down? Tell me why you shut it down. They came back here because they had to put the wires up, the big green pole there. They put all that back up there. But then later on, when the chicks came home, the children came home with their babies, and when their house and went to washing, they get mad with them. Told them they can't stay here. It's not ready. They cut everything off. And 2 weeks later, everywhere you went, the wires was cut. The wires was cut. Every wire around here was cut. I'm just tired of it because the stuff they got back here, and it have to be.
No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace.
Reiterating about the DVP voucher like this was the answer to residents' prayers. But she didn't state that those vouchers expired September of 2007. Then those residents who refuse to take a unit, they're going to be wiped out the system. or if their site is demolished, they're going to roll over to Section 8. What they're not realizing, which we also stated to Mr. Where they're going to house these people. If they tear down public housing, if all our residents need somewhere to live, if a landlord said we're not going to take a set, would have tapped into when the judge kept saying basically about the demolition process. The urgency of it, we have residents right now as we speak are being evicted in Houston because they can't afford to pay the electricity, the utility bills out there.
I just also want to say to you all that the residents of public housing have a right to return back to this community. That we feel good about what happened here today because we believe that this judge is going to be fair. Certainly he raised some issues that we have continued to raise with respect to not only us having a right to participate, but also the people in the private sector have a right to participate in this process when HUD talks about dismantling communities, not just dismantling communities, but displacing families, women and children who lived in these apartment complexes. We have units here that are livable, that we can open back up and allow these families to come back home while they sit down at the table with us to talk about the redevelopment of all of these sites that they propose to demolish. And our thing here today is that we just want to come home. Our families want to come home, our children want to come home, and we have a right to be back here in this city. That we don't believe that the mayor took a position as it relates to the process that they use to allow us to participate in the redevelopment of our neighborhoods. It's not just us who have a problem with what HUD has done, but it's private citizens who live in this city who also have a problem with the process and also is now asking the question, why are they in such a rush all of a sudden to want to tear these buildings down when they've been deteriorating for years? That's the issue here. And all we want to do is be involved and have a right to come back to our homes. That's all we want.
If people hold a lease to these houses, the law says is you have a lease and you were thrown out because of a storm, you leave because of the storm and you come back when the storm opens. Ain't nothing wrong with these houses. Anybody want to come home if you hold a lease, and we'll help you go in your house. All you got to do is lead us and we help you. But you got a legal right to come home, and we say you should. And we think everybody in the world, we should treat this right of return for public housing residents should be supported by every just loving person in this country. The celebrities, the Danny Glovers, the Belafontes, the Julian Bonds, the Andy Youngs, all the people who say that they support justice should stand with these people right to go in these houses and live. So if I have a message for the people who used to live here, my message is come home. We'll help you come in. I'll personally help you. We were kind of the first to come back. As a matter of fact, I was living in Natchez, Mississippi, and it was all of this talk about which neighborhoods were going to come back and which neighborhoods were not going to come back. It became apparent to me that they did not want poor people, renters, be it public housing or private housing, renters to come back. The whole goal, and it was even on the front page of the newspaper, that New Orleans will be whiter, smaller, and more affluent. And then the Secretary of HUD made the statement that poor people weren't coming back to New Orleans because they didn't have any reason to come back because they didn't own anything anyway. That was followed by a statement by a congressman from Baton Rouge, Richard Baker, who said, well, we finally got rid of the public housing problem in New Orleans. We couldn't do it, so God did it for us. So, I mean, he is imputing the whole Katrina disaster as God's way of getting rid of poor people. Well, from my vantage point, that was, hey, we got to go home and fight.